All right,
Oh
run it
my
back.
gosh, this is the third time that we're starting this episode. It's episode number 42. First time I said it was 41. Second time I didn't have any other audio, but we're here. It's episode 42 on my X in shambles. I'm Hunter JJX. I'm joined by Clutch and Goofy, my good friends. Faisal, Goofy, how's your weekend been, brother?
It's been good. Yeah, man, we broke a 40 episode. I was going to say 41. Oh yeah.
Did not break the streak.
No, we had a streak of never doing a retake, and we've had to do a couple retakes for this episode. So kind of, a little bit sad about that. No, I'm joking. But my week was really good. Same old, same old. The NBA playoffs are about to start. I just saw day one, the play-in tournament.
Do they count as the playoffs?
I think so. It's a postseason game, right?
If LeBron doesn't make it, can we not count him as the playoffs to say LeBron missed the playoffs?
What's worse, missing the playoffs or losing a play-in? Like, I don't know. I think losing a play-in is worse than missing the playoffs altogether.
I think missing the playoffs.
I wouldn't count the play-in tournament games as playoff matches. I think they're just postseason games.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not a playoff because playoffs are like a series. This is just like a March Madness kind of one game deal. But
I was not expecting the Hornets to get absolutely blown out like they did today. I don't know about you guys, but
where's Gordon Hayward at, bro? That guy.
Isn't he making that money? Like, what the heck is wrong with that?
Didn't they lose like their last 5 or something ridiculous? Like
they were doing pretty good before LaMelo got hurt, and then Gordon Hayward. I don't know who got hurt first, but they were doing pretty good.
Was hurt too. Yeah.
But this is a Halo stream. Gosh darn it, not a NBA
stream. You brought up basketball.
I did, and I'm gonna swing it back around to Halo. We had the Kellogg's free for all champion crowned last week, and of course we're gonna dive into that. And obviously we gotta throw it on over to Captain Clutch before that. But yeah, good week, Justin. Excited to be back for another episode.
Wes has been traveling all over. I saw the posts, I saw the pictures back in the old stomping ground. Wes, tell us about your trip, man. How was it?
Yeah, I went back home for the weekend. Had an extra couple of days there. Got to saw mom, sister, her husband, and more importantly, good group of friends. I guess not more importantly, family is always important, but my close group of friends is basically my family as well. So it was a good time, and it's pretty wild to go back to the South, especially how they just uplifted their mask mandate, and luckily I've been vaccinated and whatnot, but it's pretty chaotic. The two different experiences, one from Seattle, one from Memphis, and hopefully they're all being safe and smart down there because a lot of my close friends' family obviously live in the South, so I need them to be smart and alive in order to continue our friendships and family gatherings. So, but it was a great time. We drank an absolute ton. I had a good conversation with God on Friday morning and asked him for some help because I was struggling till about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I rallied and was able to get a grip on reality. But yeah, that was a weekend much needed, but we're in recovery mode, and that's even more needed at this point.
Now, go ahead, Faisal.
Is it one of those recoveries where it's such a bad hangover it lasts multiple days?
Oh yeah, my body.
Was it I'm never drinking again type of recovery? The quote that we've all said.
All right, so I got there on Wednesday. Wednesday was chill. Thursday was a day that I regret because
Thursday was some degenerate stuff.
Yeah, Thursday. Let's just say I was out until about 5.
Savage.
And I remember looking at myself around 3:45 in the afternoon, hanging over a toilet seat and wondering, is this it? And God reached down and graced me with a little bit of generosity because I was able to rally by 5:30 and get back to drinking, but it was a struggle to say the least. Yeah, I had to. I mean, it's I'm not gonna spend one of these nights just hugging a toilet seat, right? To say the least. So
now, did you weigh yourself before the trip and after the trip to see how that kind of all went down?
I was actually able to work out 3 of the days. Not that day, but every other day I was able to get a grip, workout before getting back to the groove. So I didn't gain too much weight, which is very important to me. I've been on a serious health grind, been really trying to cut down. Lost 20 pounds already this year. Wow. Cutting up. Just really happy with where I'm at and the journey I'm on. So I wanted to make sure I didn't mess that up too much. And I felt like I did a good job. I think I'll probably maybe gain a pound or two, but nothing I can't shed this week.
Nice. And up next, you got San Diego. So Wes is all over the place.
I got a wedding. I'm gonna be at some arm candy this weekend. I'm a date to a wedding, so I had to make sure I look sharp for that. And with that, I'm very excited.
Come through West Coast, Best Coast. Well, for me, the weekend was awesome. I don't know about you guys, but it felt like Sunday was one of the most insane days ever in terms of like content. Like I was taking in basketball games, like the last games of the season, plus the CDL, plus the Halo 5 1v1s. I mean, there was so much going on. My heart goes out to Clayster and the NYSL guys. I don't understand how there's no advantage for coming out of winners. If you guys are watching the CDL, they come out of winners into the finals, and it's just a best of 9. It's like, wait, you don't get any sort of advantage. I mean,
right? Maybe map picks or something like that. Like
that's ridiculous, honestly. How do you come out of winners and not? It's literally the basis and foundation of how these series have always been played.
Tournaments. Yeah.
Not to mention, like, you're gonna play that team that's been grinding through losers that's hot. So a lot of the times we've seen in the past where they'll take that first series and then in the second series the higher seed team will get a rhythm and then close it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of bummed me. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of pulling for Clay and the boys to get that dub, but FaZe is a god squad in the COD world. That lineup is just ridiculously talented. But no, there was so much going on Sunday. There was that, and there was like every basketball team had their last game of the season. We had like the Warriors playing.
Or all 30
Memphis.
teams played.
I was glued to my phone. I had like multiple games up on my monitors with the CDL, with the Halo 5, but
so good news, and I'm sure no one cares, but I brought it up at the beginning of the season, but I was crowned the champion officially in my fantasy basketball league. Let's go. So I was really happy. It's my first fantasy.
Don't be the guy that talks about his fantasy league.
What? I just won my first chip. I had to brag a little bit. Come on.
All right. And
what was the pool like? What was the payout?
Yeah, tell me you want the money, and then I'll let you talk.
It was like $350, but
oh, dude, that's awesome.
Not bad, not shabby. And it was I'd only been doing fantasy for this is my second time around doing it, so I got a chip on the second time. I was pretty happy.
And it's like a little chunk of change for you right before you make your Cali trip, right? So you have a little bit of
Cali next week.
A little bit of fun money. All the boys are heading to the West Coast, the best coast. I mean, well, Wes is already here, but all the boys are heading to Cali this week coming up. So we're gonna have to figure out how On My X and all that stuff goes. But let's jump into the Halo juiciness from the weekend. The Kellogg's 1v1 championship went down. I did not realize they were doing the entire tournament in one freaking day. I was kind of mind blown at that. I was like, oh, they're gonna do a round or two, and we'll just like be going week to week. But no, they busted out the whole thing. I don't really want to we jump in the results right away. Faisal, did you get a chance to watch it or no?
Yeah, I mean we got to jump into the results right
Go
away.
Ahead,
right?
Man.
We gotta give the flowers to the man who took home the crown, and that is arguably he is one of the best players in the game.
Were we
Halo
surprised
today.
he won? No. Right?
Nah. Yeah, my prediction was, and again, hindsight, I'm surprised I didn't throw Renegade's name in that, but my prediction was going to be between Frosty and Saiyan. But of course, the champion was Renegade. In second place was a player we mentioned in our predictions, as someone to look out for, and that was Vemzy. So, those two, obviously, congrats, especially to Renegade, but Vemzy as well. And then third place, we had Stellar. Fourth place, Manny. Fifth place, Gold Star BR. Sixth was Envor. And seventh, eighth was Saiyan and Frosty. So,
Your
that
top
just
two seeds.
Yeah. Those are the first two that qualified, and they finished last two in the top 8. So, unfortunate ending for them, but again, congratulations to Renegade. He, hell of a player, and even 1v1s, man. I think it really kind of solidified what we were talking about in the prediction show, our last episode, where 1v1s really is its own skill set. So, obviously Renegade is so well-rounded that he's nasty in anything he plays. 2v2s, 4v4s. I'm sure if he played free-for-alls, he'd be disgusting. 1v1s, he's nasty. But most people, I mean, you don't see Snakebite, in the finals of these things. Royal 2s, it's almost like the new
Well,
wave,
he's
right?
Canadian. He couldn't compete in it, but
Oh, okay, yeah, true. But
Oh,
my
really?
point being,
Oh, that
like,
works.
yeah.
That's
my
too
point
bad.
being, Renegade is definitely, a different beast, man. Any format, whatever he plays, he destroys it. I mean, me personally, I've dabbled in 2v2s and free for alls and 1v1s, but I felt like fours was definitely where I shined the most in terms of competition, right? But it seems like with him, it doesn't really matter what he's playing. So, yeah, Wes, obviously you kind of were casting here and there with these things. Did you get a chance to check it out? What were your thoughts and everything?
Yeah, fortunately, I actually had a flight that I was supposed to be flying all day Sunday, and American Airlines is like actually just torched my entire flight and said we're gonna fly you on Monday. So I was like, all right, yeah, like that makes sense. But it actually was a blessing because to Justin's point, tons of esports were going on Sunday. So I went back home to my mom's and was like, let me just chill on the couch and spectate all the action. So I got a chance to watch all of this. And before I jump up around to the 2 through 8, let's talk about Renegade, right? J Dub, dude, like it's kind of incredible to watch his screen. And what sticks out to me is just the confidence that he plays with and his ability to literally dictate the pace of every game he's in. Like he's always the he's always the aggressor. He's always the guy in charge of like the next play, and
he's never playing reactionary, right? Like
he's always got the enemy on their like back heels. I thought the only person that was going to be able to compete with that after getting to watch like the first couple rounds, I was like maybe Stellar, but he even made Stellar like chop liver in a sense of 1v1s, like, and it was pretty special to watch. Like, and you see that in his fours gameplay. You see that when he plays twos. It's not easy to do against like the other best players in the world, and Renegade makes it look like it's Renegade's world, and you're just living in it. It reminds me of like honestly watching like Kobe Bryant play basketball, and just like literally watching him say like, "This is my ball. This is my game. Play defense."
Yeah, just in control the entire time, right? I felt pretty proud because Renegade and Vemzy were both my dark horse picks. I don't know if you guys remember that last episode. I was like, I could see these guys kind of popping off, but to see the way Renegade controlled the game, not to mention like there was maybe once or twice in the finals that he was down, but it never felt like he was out. You know what I mean? It's like you know how we always talk about with Sentinels, like even if you're up 2-0 in the series, like you got to close that out because otherwise they're going to be a problem. They're always going to be a problem. I felt similar with Renegade. It was like, no, he's still in this game. Like his Spartan is still on that map, which is an absolute problem. No matter if he's up 5, down 5, it's just going to be issues.
Right.
And so we kind of he was just dominant, man. You nailed it, Wes, when you said confidence. That's like the biggest thing that sticks out to me about his game is the level of individual confidence in his own ability to make things happen. Pretty unbelievable. I felt like in the finals, he really capitalized a little bit on the inexperience of Vemzy. There were times where Vemzy was up and Vemzy's still pushing fights and stuff. And like for Renegade, that's just playing into his hand. He wants the fights, whereas like a more experienced player would have got the lead and maybe burned more clock and made every fight last longer. You know what I mean? So I felt like Renegade kind of had a dream matchup in the sense there in the finals of like knowing that he knew more than Vemzy, and he really capitalized on that and brought home the dub. So massive shout out to him for that, and Vemzy obviously coming in second. That's a huge showing.
Yeah. Honestly, I think inexperience probably played a factor there. And like you said, Renegade probably was glad to see who we matched up with in the finals. But honestly, I think anyone he would have played, like to Wes's point, he doesn't matter who he's playing against. That confidence is always going to be, he's going to think he's the best, regardless of who's on the other side. That's why it's so impressive to watch him really, watch his craft in terms of Halo 5 gameplay specifically. I'm even since the start, since I can remember. I remember when Renegade was teaming with like Musa, Brainstorm, and Trippy at like the beginning of Halo 5. And this is back when I was still competing early in Halo 5 with like Naded and L-Town and these guys. And even back then, this is when these kids weren't, Renegade, Brainstorm, and Musa weren't on the map yet. Trippy was kind of the known player playing with them. And I remember streaming them, and this Renegade in particular was just a monster, dropping crazy pause bombs. It's a problem on the map. And I honestly knew since that day he was going to be a problem for the league. And now he's a household name in Halo. Super impressive, man.
I mean, think
I can't
about him
say
on
enough.
Straight. He like literally
That's what
single-handedly kept Straight
Yeah.
relevant. Like
Dude,
when
when I was coaching Straight, like his screen used to give me like a panic attack because it's not like the prettiest thing in the world. Like there's a lot of time where I'm like, John, your reticle placement is absolutely garbage. And I'm like, he takes like such interesting routes and stresses me out. Like, cause when I coached him, I was like, what are you doing, dude? But every single time, things just seem to work out for him. And I'm like, well, obviously, you know what you're doing at this point. Like, um, he was on a team with APG, Ace, and Hines, and it's Renegade. And at the time, like, I'm expecting Renegade to be good, but not that good. And Renegade was the best player on the team, like by far.
He kept them in the top 4, right? It was like they were still getting top 4 just off of him going off every game, like every tournament.
I mean, it was like kind of incredible how I always just was like, can't tell if he's good or if he just has like the best timings in the world. And he's obviously solidified the fact that he's unbelievable at this point. But like the level of consistency that he plays with, like with his timings, like it's something about it, dude. Like his shot is good, but I wouldn't say it's like the prettiest in a sense, but it works, and it works to a world championship caliber level.
His internal clocks, I was noticing during the ones, his internal clock is like just so meticulous, like knowing how, like when he's got damage, how long that person has as opposed to how long he has, knowing the instant he'll be able to reach out while that guy is still weak, even though he's gotten like just having that internal clock going, at all times. And I'm sure like, going from managing 4 players in a 4s, to now having to only worry about 1 player's timings and damage probably plays into that too, like when you got it so down in 4s. So yeah, just really good. Like you said, you don't know if he was good or if he just had really good timings. I think having really good timings is a massive part of being good, right?
No, that's absolutely like it can't consistently happen at the level it does if it's not a skill set, and it consistently happens like to a point where he's accomplished everything that he's accomplished, right? Like it's not just like a lucky game or like he's not just in a groove. Like he's consistently in that groove, and it's because he's always able to your point, weigh all the important factors and make the right decision and understand that like this is the play.
Yeah. So the only thing I have to kind of like throw as like a counter, just as a conversation starter, we've seen even like Falcated and Boo Boo Doo like be very successful in multiple titles, right? So obviously Renegade's been extremely successful in Halo 5, but we've seen other even Frosty, right? Obviously you have Snakebite, you have Lethal, you have all these kinds of players. Does it make you a little bit nervous in terms of what he can accomplish in a title that isn't Halo 5, or is that not even in the question for you guys? Like for me, that's a part of it where like I've seen him try to play. I mean, and I know he didn't play Halo 3 like at all, or at least I'd assume so, compared to even like the Boo Boo Doobas of the world and the Falcators. I'm sure they played it, back when the game was relevant. But those guys get on Halo 3 and they're a problem, as compared to. You don't really see Renegade really branch out to other Halos like that. So is that something that comes to mind as a possible concern going into a different title?
For me, not so much because, Infinite is the next game coming after Halo 5. So I'm seeing it kind of, I'm predicting it'll be similar. There'll be differences, but it's like building off of those ideas. Whereas like going back to games like, no one's going to go back to Halo 1 and be able to compete against people that played Halo 1. So it wasn't surprising that Renegade was getting like stomped by people that were like playing Halo 3 when he never played Halo 3 like that, So
yeah.
So knowing that and knowing like who he's going to be teaming with right off the rip heading into Infinite, like there's no way with that level of talent now. Like if anything, he'll be even better, So I don't know, Wes, did you want to jump in on that?
Yeah. To me, he reminds me a lot of APG. And the confidence, like I don't think he'll ever be bad at something that he wants to be good at, because he puts in time. Like Renegade puts in so much time to his craft, and he's confident. As long as he can keep confident, like he's gonna be good. He's gonna be somebody. Like, and I just think like going to previous Halos where he's hasn't grinded, he's not confident. Like, he doesn't know those factors that he needs to weigh in. But I think, like, for a game that nobody's played that's going to come out and he's going to grind, he's going to learn, and he's going to be confident, like, I expect him to be Renegade for a long time.
Agreed. I kind of fall on that side of the argument too. I was just throwing it out there
absolutely.
to get your thoughts on it.
Question.
Yeah. But also, Justin, I'm gonna toss it to you. And now that we've kind of broken down the Kellogg's tournament, obviously, congratulations once again to Renegade and all the competitors, especially the top 8 players. That was something really cool to watch and exciting for Halo. What's up, Justin?
Go ahead, Wes.
I do want to say, well, there's 2 things that we should talk about here. One, I haven't said anything about Vimsy yet. The fact that guy got second, amazing. The fact that guy was in our chat 2 episodes ago when we did a live show before and said, after he qualified, we were going down the list of what our predictions were and who our favorites were. And none of us talked about Vimsy in the live show. Vimsy said, y'all watch and see. Damn. He didn't win, but he got second. He made it.
Shout out Vimsy for sure.
Absolutely. Big shout out to that kid. I hope he turns it into some force production and he's able to get on a good team because of this, because he's got some skill behind him. I promise you that. His screen looks good. He just has to figure out the 4v4 gameplay. There's that. Wanted to say that. Love the fact that he was able to back up him saying, watch me play, because that was something that like really stuck out to me. And I feel like I did as a player. I was like, I'm coming up. Now watch me come up. So I love that. The second thing, Frosty and Saiyan got 7th and 8th.
What?
Like, and I know, like,
we got DFR'd.
Frosty kind of trolled. But still, like,
yeah,
both of them wanted to win at the start of the day, and that's pretty shocking that they were the ones that kind of had to take a back seat.
1v1s, man. Like, that's why I really stress like how impressive it is for Renegade to just, no matter the format, he's just gonna always be a problem. But like, if I'm not mistaken, does Renegade kind of play 1v1s? I know Bound like with
kind of 1v1s.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big factor too.
Yeah, it's a come in, but no one's gonna come into a tournament like that and not expect to win, not want to win. You know what I mean? Like, even
of course they want to. I mean,
even for me, like the trolling and the
but
doing 360s and all that stuff was all just like acting out. Trying to cover up the fact that they're probably not happy to be in the situations they were in when they're about to get knocked out of this tournament. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And like no one, I don't think a single soul would have predicted Frosty to get double first rounded. Like, that's not something you expect to happen. I mean, also shout out to Vimsy. I'm pretty sure he beat Frosty in losers round 1, right? Like, that's your first losers match that Vimsy had to. That's the start of his road, right? Is taking down arguably the best Halo 5 player in the game, if not for sure top 3. That's your first losers round, and he goes from there to climb all the way to second. Like, that's huge. But on the flip side of that, for Frosty to lose his first round to Manny, a player who's got nowhere near the pedigree that he does, in the fashion that he did. I mean, I don't know, man. It sucks. I was expecting a lot of Saiyan as well. I didn't get to see his matches, unfortunately, but definitely interesting. With the format, anything can happen. Anything can happen in ones. But definitely was not expecting Frosty to get bounced the way he did.
Agreed.
Just wanted to mention it. It is our job to talk about surprises, and that
of course
pretty shocking.
Yeah,
of course. No, definitely shout out to Vimsy for standing behind what he said, and really, that's I'm happy you brought that up, Wes, because now that you say that, I remember the live show comes into the chat. We didn't show him the proper recognition that we should have, and he said, all right, just keep your eyes on me, watch, and that's impressive. So
do your thing, Vimsy.
Yeah, keep doing your thing, man. We got.
I hope that he's able to, because Wes brought up like the 4v4. Putting his game together there. For me, even more so, I hope he's able to figure out how to be business-minded. Like, the business mind in 4v4 Halo team changes and all that stuff, I think is a skill in of itself, and landing yourself in the best situation possible. I hope that, hopefully he has some mentors in his life or some folks to guide him along, like how to make the right decisions and put yourself in the best possible spot to succeed. So.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, at the end of the day, just be nasty at the game, because everything else will work itself out.
It'll play the cards.
Yeah, but good point, Justin. Especially in today's day and age, like you said, you gotta be thinking about all this stuff, man. We should have. We need these pro players and people. We need managers and like
I'm
people
about to
to
say, Vimsy, I know you just won 15 G. Slide a couple my way. I can start. I'll
like
start
seriously,
throwing your
man.
name out there in conversations. Talk to a lot of the top pros. Trust me, I'll be your biggest ambassador.
Get
Let's
into
go.
the eighth
Every All
one.
My Ex episode, let's have Vems talk about Vemsy for the whole episode.
Yeah. Just a
He's all
couple
paying us on
thousand, and
that.
I'll start throwing your name out there. I promise.
Yeah, man.
We have something else very exciting and encouraging and uplifting on the Twitter timeline this past week. Justin, I want you to tell the people what I'm talking about. Something exciting and awesome that Halo is all about.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we always talk about, we love about the Halo community is they do rally when there is someone in need, right? And we saw this week that Chris Puckett's mom is about to enter into a battle against stage 4 cancer, which is like no joke whatsoever. Nothing but love and prayers to the Puckett family, obviously. And so, Chris tweeted out that she was about to do that, and wondering what community stuff could happen. And MLG Adam jumped in, no surprise there, and said essentially said that yesterday, Monday, they planned the biggest, or they were going to plan the biggest Halo event ever in history in support of the Puckett family. So that's exciting. We have no idea what that format looks like or what that event might entail. But one of the cool things I brought up on the pre-show that Adam, had said they wanted to do a while ago for MLG was they wanted to do like the El Clasico where they fly out like the old rosters and have like your OG FB or OG straight, like doing some like some fun matches. So that could be something cool at an event. Wes, I'm gonna throw it to you. What kind of event do you see happening here, or what are some of the things that you would like to see?
Well, first off, we already know BTH would run circles around the old squads, so don't get that twisted.
Okay.
That would not be a very entertaining tournament. It'd be very fast. It would be very painful for the others. Have to fly out, get their ass kicked by once again. I mean, the last time that roster played together, we won a national championship. That's all I'm going to say. We didn't fall off. In all seriousness, I don't know what I want to see, but I do want to see the community respond the way I know it will. My dad had stage 4 melanoma. I know what that does to a family. I know what that kind of puts. I have no idea as an individual what it's like to have cancer, but I know what it's like to have a family member close to me have it, and it's not easy. And you need friends, you need other family, you need support. And if there's anything that we can do for the Puckett family, we need to be able to do that as a community, because it's such a tough situation. It's out of your control, right? You kind of got to let God, and hope for the best. And Puckett, like Chris, has done so much for the Halo community. I mean,
And esports.
Truly, and truly an ambassador, and a basically a father figure, right? To everyone that's gone down this path. He's been there from the beginning. He's always made it known that he has a great passion for it. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll ever be able to do a tournament that will really resemble what he's meant to our scene and what his family means to us. And his mother has always supported him and his ability to be a forefather for Halo. So I have really no idea what this even looks like, but I know I'll be there to support it and do anything I can in order to kind of carry my light along the way. So
the thing that trips me out about Chris, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Hazel, just really quick. The thing that trips me out about Chris is like, we have this global icon, right? Literally a legend. Like, so many, his resume is unbelievable, yet he's so easy to touch. You know what I mean? Like, he's there for whoever. He is like engaged. You tweet at him, he's tweeting back. You message him, he's messaging back. Like, he is a guy that is like very much could easily be in a castle in the clouds. You know what I mean? Kind of just living on, his high horse. But that is not the case for that guy. He is in it with the rest of the gamers and in the scene, in the communities, and so loved and cherished. So nothing but love and support to him and his mom and their family. Go ahead, Faisal.
No, I mean, I think y'all touched on everything and said it perfectly. Puckett has, obviously we grew to love him through, the Halo scene, but obviously his he touched so many people in esports and continues to do so, obviously. So, Puckett is a staple in the gaming community, and we wish him and his family all the best. And obviously, they're going to be in our thoughts, and we're going to be hoping, for the best. And as far as the Halo community goes, that's one thing that we've always been proud of when it comes to our support for each other and kind of like the support line we offer for the community. So he's a pillar of our community, and it's time for us to show up and show out. And I'm excited to see what Adam and the team can put together. Yeah, I just wanted to read the tweet specifically or directly. I'm on Twitter right now. It says on May 15th, Bucket tweeted, "Mom's only request at the hospital yesterday. Could you maybe do another Halo charity tournament for my cancer research? I like watching them play Halo." And then he said, "Halo community, let's get to work." And then he, tagged Sepso and Sundance and Adam and Tashi, and obviously they all replied with saying, "Let's do this thing." And when those guys, when that team sets their mind to something, you better damn believe it's going to get done, and it's going to be done to the best degree. So that's some of the best people in gaming, some of the best people I've had the pleasure of knowing, and obviously I think whatever they're going to put together is going to be outstanding. And it's awesome. You see all these people, not even from Halo, obviously, like I said, Puckett's reach goes into every community almost. You see all these COD players and commentators from different games and influencers and big, everyone's just reaching out and saying, "We'd love to support, let us know." And you see Adam, obviously there's thousands of replies, but he'll reach out, just saying thank you, we'll reach out, and just kind of reassuring everyone, and again, Halo community and the gaming community in general coming together and doing something awesome. And obviously we can speculate on what we think it's gonna, what kind of game it's gonna, what game it's gonna be, what the format's gonna be, but no way of knowing until these guys, kind of give us a little bit more concrete information on it. But ultimately, it's being done for a great cause, and I can't wait to see what it turns out to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of cool stuff, and like we don't want to overlook that family, right? It's like cool, like we're getting a potentially really cool Halo event, but let's not forget the heart. Let's not forget the heart of why this is happening, right? Like playing Halo is cool. Playing Halo for a great cause is where it's at, So whatever gets announced, I want to see you show up, Halo community. Period. Let's freaking go all in on this because it's worth it.
And she said she wants to watch them play Halo, man. So if you're gonna play and give it your all, and then go for that championship. And it's gonna be just like any other Halo tournament. Whoever the players that are fortunate enough to compete in this thing. And again, we don't know what it's gonna look like with the format, but you better put on a damn show.
Sure,
and I know you guys will.
Bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, with that being said, I think we wanted to jump in also to our main topic, fun topic for the week.
Yeah, engaging topic
where we want to get you guys involved as well in the comments. But for this week, we're talking about Halo Infinite. We're talking about players in Halo Infinite. We're talking about the future careers of a lot of these players.
Talking about who's going to carry the bag.
So with that being said, I'm going to throw things off to Wes first. Wes, whose career has the best prospect for Halo Infinite?
Who is going to be the most successful player in Halo Infinite?
I'm going to give the most obvious answer, and it's because it's the right answer, which I typically do a lot. And people are like, it's not interesting. I'm like, yeah, it is. Because it's
That's just like to be right. He doesn't care.
I literally just care about being right. And I'm going to pick Frosty. And there's a whole lot of different factors, and I'll give you the reasons why. And they should be pretty obvious, right? Like, not only is Frosty the best player in the game, but he's got the best team in the game. You know that Sentinels is the most professional team. You know that they put in the work. They know how to study. They know how to do their homework. They know how to prepare to be great. So he's set up for success by his teammates. Like, he's set up in a position to succeed, and he has the skill and talent that he's going to succeed. He left COD, which was guaranteed money, and came back to Halo for a purpose. He knows that purpose as well as anybody. And for him to do that, knowing that he's like taking that money at the front away, for the potential to make the money on the back end where he's successful in Infinite, right? And
I don't know, man. I don't know, like leaving COD. I don't know if that's the right way to look. It kind of seems like he was forced out, man.
I mean,
they
he wasn't
kinda
going
were
to be on
sleeping on him.
Mutineers, but he'd be on a team right now. Like
They were sleeping on. I think
What?
everyone was sleeping on that kid, which is a tragedy in and of itself. But the fact of the matter is, he's here and he's angry, right? But why did you pick him over Snakebite or Lethal or Royal 2?
because I think when I look at Snakebite, Lethal, Royal 2, they're a little bit older. They're a little bit more probably like they're further in their career to the point where like if things were to get rocky down the road for Sentinels, I think Frosty would always continue to play. Where if it's like if things get rocky for Snakebite, I could see him riding off into the sunset and being like, I'm a top 5 Halo player all the time. I can't like, and I'm okay. I'm financially stable for the rest of my life. Like, I'm good to go with the right investments. Of course, he's obviously not a millionaire. Maybe he is. I don't know. He's made a lot of money, but like he's
Let's talk about how much money every Halo player has.
he's bought a house. Like he's got like a lot of things going on for him outside of the game where I can see him being comfortable retiring. I can see the same thing for TJ. Like TJ is probably a millionaire, and he's got so much going for him that I could see him like just becoming like a streamer if he wanted to, and he doesn't feel the need to compete. I think Frosty's young. He's driven. He's like more competitive than they are because he still has so much to do, right? It's like those guys are almost like they're not on the back end of their careers. They're still at the top, obviously, but like
But from here, it's not really like they're going higher. It's kind of just like they're either riding here or
been there, done that, or
exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like the Roy Lunch thing where they've been there, done that for a period of time now, and it's like maybe they see the next chapter in their life, and that entices them more than competing in Halo still. And I don't think that Frosty's anywhere near that step.
I agree. I think that's a good pick. Faisal, what do you think of Wes's pick? And then who's your pick?
I think Wes's pick is probably one. Like if we took a poll, if we could take a poll in the comments, I think majority people would say Frosty. So I can see why he picked Frosty. And I don't disagree necessarily. I have a different answer for different reasons, but I think everything he said about Frosty is very true. You know, him, even though he's been dominating for so long, he still has a lot more to go. Not to say that, you know, Royal 2, Snakebite, and Lethal aren't going to dominate in Halo Infinite and beyond, because they've been doing it for a long time. Who's to say they won't continue to do it even past Infinite into the next, like, whatever's next, right? So, point being that Frosty has a lot of his story that for sure has yet to be written, and he's definitely going to be looking to kind of keep cementing his place in Halo's history. But my answer is different, and I had to think about this for a while because I was contemplating between a few players, but I wanted to kind of keep things fresh and kind of throw things at you guys with a different perspective. My player is going to be Eco. I think Eco is going to step into a role in Halo Infinite with his teammates similar to what Snakebite was to his team. I think we've known Eco to be a really top player, like a dominant player that's on top in Halo 5 for a long time, but he really hasn't had the spotlight such as a player like Snakebite. And I kind of, in my head, I correlate them in similar ways. I think they're similar kinds of players, you know, all around beast, in-game leaders.
IRL beasts.
I was going to say IGLs. I don't know why I said IRLs. An IGL, like an in-game
Just
leader.
Jacked.
Yeah, Kevin's a monster IRL, by the
way. He is. Shout out Kevin. You're a monster IRL. But no, I think, you know, I'm not saying he's necessarily going to be like the biggest, like the most positive player every tournament, but I think his presence on his team, his presence in the community, like the spotlight is going to be on him, and I think he's going to shine when it is on him. We see like that door is always open with him in terms of him just blowing up and just everyone really knowing how nasty he is. But a part of me kind of thinks that the community really doesn't know how good he is still, you know?
Agreed.
So I think he just has so much opportunity in front of him. And even though in terms of age, he's kind of on the
He's
I think
old.
he's more similar to like the lethal snakebite age group
He's
than he is.
28. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
so he's older, but the difference is his like he hasn't had all that success yet. So he's still really hungry, in my opinion, for that. So, um, you know, like I said, there's a few players I really wanted to pick for this question, like who's going to be the most successful player in Halo Infinite, but I couldn't stray away from Eco, and I think that's going to be my pick.
Well, I was gonna pick Eco before you stole it, but because of the reason that he's always building his own success around him. So it's like no matter what kind of gets thrown at him in the team lottery and stuff, not that he's in that right now, he's the kind of player that could pick and build around him and really find success that way. But since you took my pick, I'm gonna cheat. I'm not gonna pick one player. I'm gonna pick 4 players, and I'll give you the reason why. For me, there's 2 tandems of players I really want to see. I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring in Infinite. The first tandem is Boo Boo and Falcated. I couldn't pick one or the other. They're both roommates. They're going to be rocking together for a while. I think if they're able to find the right pieces, we've heard Bound, we've heard other person, whatever. Nothing. We don't really know how set in stone a lot of that stuff is. But those guys are good enough to be competing for a title every tournament, in my opinion. The talent that they have. If they had the right players, they would be right there. And we've seen them win and be right there as well. So Boo Boo and Falcated, for me, are a pick. The other tandem is the Rain Ryan noob. Obviously, I'm super excited to see, like I said, everyone from MCC and Halo 5 coming back together and competing against each other. That tandem as well, even more so up in the air. Like, what pieces are they going to have? Because I truly believe that with the right 2 pieces, those 2 as well could be seeing themselves in a finals or, a semifinals every event. Wes, I see you rolling your eyes at me. Are you in complete disagreement or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to walk a fine line between being like big fans of those players because I like love the fact that they're like the 4 or 5 seeds that can beat the 1, 2, 3 seeds. And like that's where I was a majority of my career, so that I like that story is important. I just don't know if they'll ever be like, especially the Rain Ryan noob combo. Like they can win any tournament. I don't ever think that they'll get to a point where they can win every tournament. And that's kind of like the question at hand for me is like, who do I think can win every tournament and be that level of like success and create the next dynasty or continue the current dynasty?
What if I just made the team myself? It's right there. Rain, Ryan, Boo Boo, and Falcated. Make it happen, guys.
That
go out there
would be
and
a sick team.
Go out there and dominate, right? I just.
What about Bound? I mean, some would say Bound is better than Falcated and Boo Boo.
Bound's been good at one Halo game. Prove it to me on LAN and prove it to me in multiple titles.
I'm not the sum, but some would say Bound is the prospect out of that trio.
Want to get
like Bound is, huh?
So
yeah, he was kind of.
Has Bound been to a LAN? I mean, like the buck stops there with me. Like, go out and show up and show out. I want to see it. I believe it.
Damn, Hunter doesn't believe in Bound confirmed. Wait a second, Hunter.
I'm just saying, if Rain and Ryan came knocking and it was between either Bound or Rain and Ryan, I'd say, sorry, Bound, you got to kick rocks. But
wait, going into Halo Infinite, if someone told if Falcated and Boo Boo needed a teammate or 2, you would pick Rain and Ryan over Bound.
Yes, absolutely.
Wes, so what do you got to say about that one?
It's not going to happen, so I don't have to make any comment. And that's not the team I would put together.
Oh, what would be the team you would put together if you could?
Out of any players, or
out of kind of the outliers. So nobody from Envy, Sentinels, or Cloud9. Those guys are off limits.
That's tough. I'd probably put
Bound, Boo Boo, and Foul. Put them 3 on.
Bound, Boo Boo, Foul,
and then just try out your ports.
And then we'll throw Snipe down on the roster and call it a day.
Yeah, he'd be a good fourth.
We'll see where he's lurking.
And I bring Mikwin out of retirement because I put Mikwin on the team because I think Austin is nasty.
His ceiling was just.
He is like I've never watched someone just dismantle a team like that EG roster. Like I watched Austin dismantle them in H2A. Like,
That man's skill
bring
ceiling
Formal out of
was-
retirement.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it'd be me,
If we're going on
Formal,
that
Snipe
route,
Down.
oh, Wes is on the team now. All of a sudden.
Yeah, me,
if we're-
Formal, Snipe Down, Mickwin.
If you're bringing
And
people
then,
out of
and then I'll get
retirement,
dropped in like the first week of practice, and they'll pick up.
And then you'll be coaching them for the event.
hit me with the
exactly what
Shotzi
would
and hit me with
happen.
the Shotzi and everything will be fine if we're bringing people out of
Shotzi,
retirement, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
it's just,
drop it.
y'all just better hope Shotzi doesn't play Infinite, man. All you competitors out there, just hope Shotzi stays with COD.
I
What about you,
guarantee
though?
it's-
What about you,
I guarantee
Faisal,
it's
though?
been
No-
most happy shots he's out of the scene now.
No Sentinels, Envy, or Cloud9 though, Faisal. Who you putting together to make a team to compete?
Dude, I imagine Falcated, Boo Boo, Bound, and Shotzi. Can you imagine that?
The dream team.
Falcated, Boo Boo, and Shotzi teamed in Halo
Yeah,
3.
yeah, they did. But imagine like
Yeah.
that new trio dynamic they form a Bound, and then already that trio dynamic they have a Shotzi, and then they just combine that.
Shotzi would just play with Spice though. That doesn't make much
I
sense.
know. I'm not. But we can't pick. He said no Cloud9.
Yeah,
No.
okay,
I'm just trying
Yeah.
to. Hey, all right. I'm just trying to just
Yeah,
make
stay within the lines. I see you.
Yeah. I'm trying to stay within the lines, but still kind of bend the rules a little bit. But it would have to be for me. It would have to be the trio of Foul, Boo Boo, and Bound. And
Are
then,
they a trio or are they a duo +1? I still think they're a duo +1, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because because Boo Boo and Falcade are roommates. It feels like everyone else is just an addition to
I
them.
think they're kind of a trio.
You don't look at the trio. You don't look at the duo. You just look at them as a collective group of 4 players. Like the duo stuff is just for us to be able to talk about. That's not an actual thing.
No, I don't know
I
about
mean,
that.
dude,
Some
Boo Boo and
people have
Falcon-
duos, bro.
No,
Well, Roy and
I'm-
Lunch not a duo?
I was about to say, unless you got a twin brother, you don't have a duo.
No, come on. Like,
No,
like Nate and
everyone is-
Legit were a duo for a little bit.
And they were expendable. You see, Legit had
Oh my
success when he didn't team with Nated. So if they were a duo,
They had success
then Legit-
together.
I mean, what defines success? Because I would
Yeah.
say that Legit was far more successful without his duo than with.
Okay, then I mean I could think of like Royal 2 and Snakebite.
Far more. Well, I mean, like they're not a duo. They're just fucking 2 of the best players in the world on the same team.
They've been together for like
I
over a
think there's-
decade, bro.
Of course,
they're
it's not like
they're
a
duo
stat.
at that
Like
point.
it's not like these two are together. It's
That's that's just talk, dude. It's like you play 4-on-4. You don't play 2v4 or 2v or like.
what do you think in the comments?
plus
Tell us.
2.
Give
Yeah.
us your thoughts. Do you
What's
think
your
there's
dream
such thing as
team?
Do you think there's such thing as duos in like an esport? Do you know what are some of your favorite duos in Halo history? Let us know. Interested to hear what you guys have to say.
Look at Wes. He's just upset because he never had a duo for himself.
Listen,
That's it.
all right.
Scotty took the money and peace.
I had a
when
duo,
Wes-
and we were the coldest 2v2 team in the planet.
Wait, how could you have a duo if there's no such thing as a duo?
Because we played 2v2s.
So there's just two people that
Okay.
play 2v2s then. You're not
Yeah,
duo.
that's your duo. If you play 2v2s, you have a duo.
Okay.
If you play 3v3s, you got a trio. If you play 1v1s, you
What
got
if
a
you play
solo.
4v4s?
Then you got a quad.
Oh,
Quattro,
man.
and you're running it.
Oh man. I don't know where to go with this right now.
Well, I'm waiting for you to close. I'm waiting for Faisal
I
to close.
think
I'm like, is
it's about
Faisal gonna
We
close
wrap
this thing
up.
ever?
No,
Episode 42.
but I do a player that I also think because we didn't even mention his name in the conversation. It's got to be Renegade, right? We're talking all this about Renegade to start the show. He's definitely in the conversation for prospects to be the most successful going into Halo
Absolutely.
Infinite. And similar to to an Eco, because obviously Eco's won the Worlds, so it's not like he hasn't done anything. And we're talking about him like he's some up and comer. Eco is established, and we know this. Same with Renegade, he's a world champion. But similar to Eco, I can't help but feel like there's a lot left, in terms of Renegade's success story with Halo. So I think he's going to be a name to look out for.
Absolutely.
In terms of being just the absolute one of the best players, if not the best player and most successful player going into Halo Infinite. But without further ado, without much more needing to be said, episode 42 with On My X. Of course, we touched on a lot of fun topics this episode. Please let us know in the comments. Keep interacting with us. Drop a subscription on the YouTube channel. and share the video. We're trying to keep growing and trying to make sure we keep bringing you guys content. But from Captain Clutch, Hunter JJX, and Goofy, we'll see you guys next week on my X, episode 42. We're out.
Peace.